So we are back here on this very special live digital event for honoring the Cornell University 30 under 30 for Forbes. I am Lou Diamond, and we are joined in this particular session with Jerome Tse. Jerome, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
This is exciting. Jerome is live from Santa Monica, California, where it's a lot warmer. He somehow managed to escape the lovely frigid air of Chicago, where he was yesterday. And as you could tell by the background behind him, he has brought the frost all the way back into the Santa Monica area. I think that's supposed to be waves or a waterfall, but we're just going to say that it's frozen at this point. Jerome, class of 2013. First of all, congratulations on being named and listed in the Forbes 30 under 30.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So you have an amazing company. You have a great story. You have a really cool connection with Cornell. And I think we want to maybe start a little bit with how this business began. And I think that will be the way we'll kick off our conversation. That sound like a plan?
Sounds great.
Go ahead.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. It's a true humbling opportunity and proud to represent Cornell. My story and my experience really began at Cornell. It began in high school, but I launched the business idea and worked on it when I was a student at Cornell. I was a former rower in high school, and when I got to Cornell, I was thinking about becoming a student athlete my freshman year. Ended up deciding to not go that route and just be a normal student.
Okay.
Wanted a change in lifestyle from kind of my high school experience. So pursued academics, pursued kind of career aspirations, what I wanted to do with my career. Freshman year, I was actually hit with a cancer diagnosis. So that kind of put my whole student experience for my first semester on hold. I had to take the second semester off. Undergo chemotherapy, and lost all my hair. And
it's overrated. Hair, it's overrated. Don't even worry about it.
So I ended up going back home for my second semester. Lived in Boston out of my parents' house, took classes over at Boston University. They also had a hotel school program there, and took some economics courses at Harvard while I was doing chemotherapy. Ended up coming back my third semester, which was sophomore year. I didn't miss any time. I had caught up on my courses, and around that time was when I started challenging my own diet and how I took care of my body. Ended up taking in a new plant-based, new organic foods diet that was heavily fruit and vegetable based, unlike my previous athlete heavy protein diet that I had when I was a rower. And that really, I felt the change immediately. I felt myself really feeling stronger, feeling better every day. And I've been cancer-free now for over almost 9 years.
Great to hear.
I credit the diet. Thank you. I credit the diet. But that whole experience, that whole journey, introduced myself to my new passion in healthy eating and my previous passion in sports, being a rower. Kind of combined the two passions and realized there was an opportunity in the marketplace for sports drinks and for beverages in general. Back in 2000, I believe that was 2010, 2011, the market at that time was just filled with artificial sugars, artificial chemicals. So I saw a big opportunity to introduce my concept to Cornell and to the hotel school, entered the idea into an introduction to entrepreneurship course. We ended up winning a contest at the end and getting a lot of introductions to alumni, to investors, and that's how we started.
So Berri Fit, obviously, is the name of the business and the product. How big is the company now, and how long has it been around for at this particular time that we're at this?
So we officially launched in August of 2015. We're in our fourth year now, and we have 7 full-time employees and about 15 part-time employees.
Okay, great. So let's by the way, there's some questions already flying in. I'm going to get to them in a minute. My question to you, going from college and then becoming an entrepreneur, for you, overcoming these health challenges, impressive. And thank you for sharing that story. But this is obviously something that was close to home for you and something you really cared about. Was this entrepreneurial spirit something that you always planned on? Is that something that's been in your DNA or in your family or what you're most familiar with?
I definitely grew up with that experience. My dad had started his own travel agency company in 1987, and he's still doing it now. So definitely grew up with that background. But going into the hotel school, I'd be lying if I said I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And going into as a freshman, I wanted to be in the hotel field. I wanted to be in the real estate field. I think it changed at least 4 or 5 times as any other student would. But it was really my sophomore year where I figured out I wanted to be going down this path.
We're here today celebrating, obviously, a huge accomplishment and being put on this list. From the business perspective, what have been some of the biggest hurdles and challenges that you've had to face in getting this company to where it is today?
I think the challenges at first were understanding retail. Retail is such a dynamic beast, especially for smaller companies who are often treated the same as bigger companies by retail giants. So I think overcoming that learning curve and being able to turn those relationships into profitable relationships for a small company was definitely the biggest challenge early on, but something that I think we've been improving on every year. So
it's awesome. Question from Jing Kai, class of 2014. And he graduated from the food science program at Cornell. And he is launching an FDA-approved nutrition supplement product line this year. What channels did you use when you launched your products? And what was the most effective channel that you went through?
So for our type of product, we fit very well in with natural-oriented supermarkets. Our first customer was actually a Whole Foods Market. They, back in 2015, before Amazon acquired the company, they were really known for pioneering brands and taking on small brands and incubating them. So we kind of got in at the right time. And they're still a great company and still doing that, maybe to a little bit of a lesser extent than a few years ago. But we found the greatest success for our type of product in natural-oriented supermarkets, gyms and fitness centers, naturally, and in schools and college campuses.
Jerome, talk about you're dealing with lots of different lines. It's not only just a retail product, obviously. You're dealing with a production line and getting your ingredients and obviously lots of approvals that you have to go through in that role. I guess my question is, are those daily stresses that you have in running your company, or you've managed to set the right structure up for having certain people to worry about certain things as the leader of the company?
We're getting there. It's definitely, we brought on a vice president of sales who handles all the sales side of the business. We brought on a marketing manager who handles all the marketing for our business. Supply chain, I do primarily with our chief food scientist. So we're looking to definitely expand our team to take on more responsibilities, but early on, any early venture, usually you wear multiple hats. It's something, I've been finding myself wearing fewer hats every year, but still something that, as a business owner, I think any company goes through.
Question from Rose Maburu, MBA 19. How much capital did you need to get your venture up and running? How did you raise the funds? And talk about the pressures and crisis during that early survival period. For the record, this guest has asked that same question to a bunch of other people. So this is a popular question he's hitting upon.
Definitely. For our industry, we usually break it out into different phases, but when we first started, we raised about $40,000 to get an initial proof of concept. So we raised $40,000 primarily to get the finished products, to get the branding, to do an initial test in Whole Foods. Once we were able to have an official proof of concept, we we then raised a larger $500,000 round.
Gotcha. Question from Thomas. You mentioned you established your company after you won a contest after an entrepreneurial class at Cornell. Are there any other programs or activities that have helped advise you as you've been growing this company?
While I was a student or while right now?
Well, I think maybe there were classes that you took back then that have probably helped you today, or maybe along the ride.
Absolutely. So I was a student at the hotel school, and while there weren't classes specifically tailored to building consumer brands and products, a lot of the classes I took were very applicable. So I took classes in the hotel school from everything from business law to human resources to financial management, financial accounting, everything. While it wasn't directly related, it all tied together. And right. And honestly, even my real estate valuation courses, I was able to apply some of those learnings to the valuation of startups too. So.
I was going to jump in. Obviously, you took that business law class. We'll give a shout out to Professor David Sherwin, who I assume that was the class that you were in.
Yes.
Who I've had the pleasure of sitting in a couple of times on that class. So one more question. My God, you're a popular guy, Jerome. This is from Christian, Engineering 2019. How did your time in Cornell help prepare you to start and run your startup? That's a good one.
Well, definitely the freezing cold weather built my ability to be adverse.
It built it so well that you're now in Southern California. You did a really good job. Anyway.
But I would say, I mean, when I entered Cornell, I was blown away by how everyone around me was just had such intelligent brains, and it pushed me to grow better and to keep up with everyone. I think that community was definitely the launching pad for my entrepreneurial background. But how I learned really to become a consumer products and consumer branding entrepreneur was really, I would say, it started at the hotel school. They always taught me to treat my consumers first, to always listen to their advice, and that the customer is always right at the end of the day. So using that philosophy, I was really able to build a brand out of the consumer's mindset. And I got consumers very involved with building the brand early on. And I would say that strategy really started at the hotel school.
I'm going to ask you a question that I ask a lot of the people on my program, Jerome. We all have off days. Things aren't flowing as well. Sales aren't meeting, challenges, internal stuff. On those days when you're not thriving, who or what practice do you seek to get yourself back on the thriving track?
I would say I've always been someone who's been passionate about fitness and health, whether it's cooking a new recipe or trying a new workout, trying a new outdoor activity, kind of clearing your mind. You can't make strong business decisions if your head is not clear and focused. So I think some of those activities help clear my mind. But I think it's always important, whether you're an athlete, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a hardworking student, or whatever field you're in, it's always good to reset. And I think those are whatever allows you to reset kind of is the right move.
So when you learned you were on this list, where were you? How excited were you? Was it a shock, a surprise? Can you talk about the experience when you learned that you were listed as a 30 under 30?
So I learned when I actually woke up, and I woke up to a couple text messages from my Cornell friends, and it's definitely I think it was a humbling thing to learn about, and to find out that there were 15 of us was something I was definitely very proud of.
Oh, that's awesome. You've been modest in this explanation of the answer. I figured, there'd be good stories, or, we've actually had people that didn't even know they found out they literally they missed the email that came in. I thought that was pretty interesting. So Jerome, where do you want to take Berri Fit to? What are the plans? This isn't the end game. This is the beginning of the next level for you. What's your plan? Yeah, what's your plan for the business? What are some of the things in the short term, near term you'd love to see?
So long term, we're definitely striving to be a global leader in plant-based nutrition. Every day we're working closer towards that. Short-term goals, we're working on launching a few new, very exciting product extensions based off of the same Berri brand that we'll be launching later this year. And we're actually launching a test market of them on Cornell's campus in the next few months. So yeah, those are a little bit of our short-term and long-term goals.
So let's go into the specifics here. Talk about the actual product lines that you guys are launching, different flavors. Let's educate our viewers here as to all the different types of things that you have. Just it's always good to hear it from you.
Definitely. So our core products are Berri Fit, which are the first plant-based USDA organic fitness beverage. Has more electrolytes than leading sports drinks, only half the calories, 1/3 the sugar. And we use premium ingredients from organic coconuts to organic maca, organic ginseng, organic maki super berries. And we're actually sweetened with the most potent honey in the world, organic Manuka honey from New Zealand.
Oh, wow. Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah, sorry, keep going.
So that's our main product.
So how widely distributed are you today? And we're at the beginning of 2019. Where do you want it to get to, even in just a year, on the different outlets of where you'll be?
So currently we are in 3 regions of Whole Foods market. We're in Northern California, Southern California, and the Northeast, which comprises of New York State, New Jersey, Connecticut, and parts of Rhode Island. So we're also
it's a very small state. Like the part is like one exit in Rhode Island. It's like, this big. So.
Yeah, that's true. We're also in CVS pharmacy in about 2,000 stores, and Wegmans is a great chain in the Northeast. We've partnered with Fresh Time Farmers Market in the Midwest, and about 300 to 500 other independent retail chains.
Jerome, in the space that you're in, which is a very competitive space, I know shelf space is competitive just in that part. What were some of the things that you never knew going into the process that you've learned that really surprised you? And some things that maybe you feared that you actually learned weren't that big of a deal or as big of a challenge? What were those unexpected learnings that you've had in running this company?
I would say that the unexpected learnings are some of the retail giants. You can have a great story and have a great product, but at the end of the day, they'll treat the small company the same as they'll treat the big company. So I think that's given us an advantage because we have to have the mindset of a big company and not really give excuses. So I think that was definitely something that was a challenge and a learning early on. But once we were able to overcome that, we've been able to build some really great partnerships with Whole Foods and CVS, which we're launching some new items with hopefully nationally later this year. So
that's great stuff. Let's ask the question about Cornell itself to you. Obviously, the hotel school means a lot to you. What do you miss most from the days of being a student?
So I was actually on Cornell campus last week. So I've been there 3 times in the last 12 months. But what I miss the most, that's a tough one to say one thing.
You can name multiple things. I didn't limit it.
I think just the idea, the concept of being a student, like you got to sign up for any classes you want, learn what you want for the most part. And just that idea of not having responsibilities. And for the most part, I know most students actually at Cornell have jobs and pay their own tuition. I've had some really fond memories of my friends and my classmates together, and everyone at Cornell is so hardworking. I would say the part that I miss the most is being a student.
You know, it's interesting because I think the hardest part is when you're a student, you're too focused on being a student and getting a job or figuring out what's next. And when you come back to visit, you forget the fact that you have the responsibilities, and you look around and you only remember all the good things, except for the weather, which is, you know, one of those things. Jerome, so this is the good question. How has the Cornell network, or has the Cornell network from alumni, your students, your colleagues, how has that helped in your professional career? Has that helped to open doors or different avenues in helping to get Berri Fit down the road or in certain places?
Yeah, I would definitely say that the Cornell Alumni Network is, if not one of the most powerful networks, university networks in the world, definitely at the top. So it's helped me launch my company. It's from alumni, whether it doesn't have to be from the hotel school, it could be from a different department of Cornell, but alumni from every department at Cornell have been tremendously supportive of my my venture, and we probably wouldn't be here today if it weren't for the network.
Yeah, and obviously it's really helped you in the sense because obviously you're even using the university as a place to launch a lot of different products, which is good. I'll have to check it out the next time I'm there. Question came in here from Paul. Do you see any challenges maintaining the mantra by which you founded the company? Lower sugar, premium ingredients, sweetest honey from New Zealand, over the long run. Obviously, these are expensive items to make, and the cost structure could be challenging. Help answer Paul's question here. He's from the class of 1991. In maintaining this value that you started the company and making it grow.
Yeah, I would say that, you know, quality is something we'll never sacrifice as a company. The premium qualities and the integrity of the ingredients behind all our products, something that we won't sacrifice. I think that's something that will continue to evolve as we grow and hopefully become a generational company. Is the pricing structure? We might see that as we grow and we try to make our products more readily available to the masses, that we might have to lower the price to and make it more affordable to everyone. But as far as the quality of ingredients, we don't see that as anything that will change going forward.
Yeah, and it is a great thing to go by. And the good news is, I guess, is that everybody is heading in that wave. I was recently talking to a colleague who works at Coca-Cola, and they've been trying to acquire every sparkling soda, sparkling water type of product out there, because, you know, whether it's from the Soda Streams of the world, anything that doesn't have sugar, because obviously it's such a taboo piece. But the more natural ingredients, the better, and obviously great taste too. And now I'm getting other comments here. Comment from Peter J. Madronowski. He enjoyed meeting you on the roof of the Phi Sigma Kappa reunion. Congratulations, go Tunas. You see, we are interactive here. We're connecting, and obviously you have fans. So isn't that good? Any shout out messages for him? I can't text him back, but you can communicate to him or follow up.
Yeah, just say go Tunas.
All right, so give the plans for where you want the business to go in the next 2-3 years. What's your plan? You've kind of highlighted it, but anything specific that you're thinking about? Big time, BHAG, big goals for everybody.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we just came off of a meeting from CVS Pharmacy yesterday. So
Congrats.
We can't say what. Thank you. We can't say which products yet because we haven't launched them, but we have a product that we're most likely taking nationally this year. That's outside of our current product. So we're testing it on Cornell's campus, and definitely in the next 2 to 3 years, kind of strengthening our partnerships with our current retailers, such as CVS, such as Whole Foods, Wegmans, and we're about to launch with Costco next month. So strengthening the relationships with our current key partners.
That's awesome. Last point here, I guess, messages that you can give to hotel students, other Cornell alum in this ride that you've been through and running this company, because it's one of the more challenging spaces, obviously all different food products, and you heard by some of the great questions people have been asking in. Words of advice from your seat where you are right now in the short amount of time that you can give.
I would say don't be afraid to take a path that's not as common as maybe some of your other peers. And if I know a lot of graduates who are in such impressive careers and are hesitant to maybe do something that might stop them in their career path. I would say that don't be afraid to take that leap of faith and to follow what's in your gut. I think that the saying is, if you follow what is inside you and what you truly believe, you can very rarely go wrong. And the network that you have with your professional network and the alumni network at Cornell, it really is a great foundation to keep your feet on the ground. So definitely don't be afraid to take that risk.
You've been a trooper here, Jerome, because we gave the long segmented version of the interview, but there's still more questions coming in.
Okay.
Paul Bamundo, class of from Ag School 94. Jerome, as a former athlete, do you plan to market your product through sports to reach consumers?
So we started that way, and we actually our original brand name was Berri Pro, targeted towards professional athletes. Over time, when we launched the product, we learned in Whole Foods that our primary customer was actually general fitness enthusiasts that didn't consider themselves athletes.
Yeah,
and mostly moms, mostly parents with active kids, and kids are at least 25 to 30% of our consumers today. So I think for our current products, we most likely will continue marketing them towards this general fitness consumer. However, as we expand our offerings, there's definitely an opportunity for us to target more professional athletes, and we've actually worked with some professional NBA teams as well, including the Warriors. So it doesn't mean that the product, even though it's marketed towards general fitness enthusiasts, that all types of consumers can consume our product.
Jerome, if you want to go and put yourself on the pedestal to say this is the reason that they're they've won 3 out of the last 4 championships because of your product, that's totally worth it. I think we've now found the secret formula. We now realize why they've been playing so well. By the way, no, it's great. I have known people in the space and recognize the challenging marketing because there's pluses and minuses to it, but that's great that you can get that level of information and research to recognize who really cares most about it and then find that to be the success. It's good sometimes to go down an avenue, you realize, well, that kind of worked, but it didn't necessarily bore the fruit, if you would, that you can get from going elsewhere. So we've got a little under 3 minutes here. Before we wrap you up for complete, I'm gonna give some more admin notes here. For all those people who've been listening, obviously check out Cornell Entrepreneur Network. Share any of this information on social media. Also go to @Cornell Alumni across all the pages. Where are the social media links that we can find you, by the way? Let's do that right now. Jerome, give me all the plugs on places people can find you and Berri Fit. Let's use that.
So you can find Berri Fit on Instagram, where that's probably our most active social media platform. We also have Facebook. You can find me personally on LinkedIn, and feel free to connect with me.
Excellent. It's an invitation to all these hundreds of people viewing right now live and unrecorded thousands thereafter. They're all going to start emailing you directly. I think that'll be wonderful for you. Now, but hey, look, it's great. It's a great product and a great brand. I'm actually checking out your site right now. So wrapping up here, just the experience as a whole from being in this list of the 30 under 30. I know you're very excited about it. I wanted to ask one last final one, which is, are you looking forward maybe even to reaching into the network that you've now just been added into in these 30 under 30? We were just talking to some bunch of other people that they can't wait to crisscross and utilize that network for yourself.
Yeah, I definitely look forward to connecting with the other 14 Cornellians and the broader network of our class of 2019. So definitely something I'm looking forward to this year.
Absolutely. Jerome Tse, man, this was a pleasure. Congrats on the recognition. Great luck coming out into the award, and we will look for you on the shelves everywhere and check out Berri Fit where we can.
I appreciate it. Thanks for the opportunity.
You got it, Jerome. Jerome, thank you very much. And go back and enjoy the warm weather. It's really cold over here.
I appreciate it again. Thanks again.
Bye-bye.
Bye.